for the taxi.
Right, we're back. Sorry, we're back. I had to get that. That's a whole new stream has started again, so apologies. YouTube app, thanks very much for crashing and destroying all our thoughts and dreams and prayers. It's all happened in one shot there. Let's wait for everyone to join back into this one, because now everyone's going to get a second notification to say there's another live stream happening. Bob,
there's two Bobs. Will the real Bob please stand up?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's going to have to come back. That's completely. YouTube app has just crashed. There's nothing to do with here or the stream or the notifications or anything else. It's just the app decided to have a fit. Here's a few people dropping in already. That's good. Colin, right, we're rudely interrupted in the middle of that, which was, do you find it a burden or a problem or anything in the difference? You're a petrol head. You like driving cars. You like getting around. So is it a big effort to be driving an electric car versus a petrol diesel car?
Well, for me at the moment, no, not really, because I have a Kona, so I am spoiled, and I love driving my Kona.
Kona being very long range. You're kind of 400.
Yeah, easily 400.
Yeah,
now,
400
I only say 450 if you drive it like a hearse. I don't drive it like a hearse. So 370, 400. The milder weather coming, the battery's a bit warmer. You're not using the heat and so on. You're getting a bit more. So it's been great. Like I came down yesterday from County Meath, just Garmestown, drove all the way down here easily on one charge, and still half a battery left thereabouts. No problem. So I'm back driving as normal again. The odd time I've needed to charge is normally when I forgot to charge at night. But if I charge every night, I've the guts of 400k for the next day. I never need more than that.
Yeah.
So now if I know I'm going to have to come to Cork on business or to visit or come to a football match, like last year, the famous story, when I had my Ionic, and I loved the Ionic, I tried to go to the Liam Miller match, and I brought my family and my mother-in-law. She's a mad United fan, she wanted to come. Brought them down, we stopped twice, got held up once, got to the match. I dropped them to Parky Queeve, and then I had to drive around Cork to try and find somewhere to charge. So of course 50,000 other people came to Cork, and there was a few EV drivers there, and they'd taken all the chargers. I had to go outside of Cork to find a charger to then get them in a taxi out to me to get home. That wasn't great, you know. But I don't have those worries anymore.
Same as Newbridge. I go from Portlaoise to Newbridge to go shopping sometimes. Newbridge has no chargers at all. There's one in the train station, but that's not actually in Newbridge. That's like 2 miles outside of Newbridge. So there's no chargers, nothing registered anywhere. 22 kilowatt or otherwise, there's nothing in Newbridge. And that's like a step. Now Naas is the next one up, and there's other chargers around the place. But if you're shopping in Newbridge and you're short of a charge, you're screwed.
Yeah. Well, if you live in Newbridge and you have your own, the first question I always ask somebody when they're considering getting an electric car is, have you got your own driveway? Have you got your own driveway that you can bring your own charger so you're charging every night? Then 95% of your problems go away. So, for those of us who live in rented accommodation or in, apartments who are going to be relying on some kind of public infrastructure or management infrastructure, it's very important to consider that. But once, once you have your own driveway, it doesn't really matter what car. Like here we are today now, we've got, I think we've counted 16 cars have shown up. Everything from the Peugeot, which you looked at earlier, that Maciek brought, that'll do 50 or 60 kilometres range, and cheap, cheerful little run around in a town. If you have your own driveway for that, it's perfect. Up to.
But you will be charging that every day.
Oh, every day, every night. But it's like the man who asked me last week, but how long does it take you to charge your car? And I says, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm in bed asleep when it's charging. But the question I've started asking people, take any car that you really, really like today, like an M3 Beamer. I saw a beautiful M4 yesterday outside a customer's office, brand new, beautiful car. And as I said to the guy, I said, see that car? I said, if that car had a half-size petrol tank that it has now, would it still be a good car? And the answer, of course, is yes, but you'd have to put petrol in more often.
But your Fiat Panda only has a small little petrol tank. It's just a ordinary petrol tank. That's still operational. Anyway, I'm going to go around and make sure we haven't missed any questions here. We're still going on questions. Millions of more people have to join. That's good. More have found us. Thank you for coming over from one side to the other. Cross says he spotted your Konas on a knock Macroon Hill on Friday.
Oh,
that's you.
Could have been.
Yeah, because Omni says, there's Omni sister. There's toys and stuff. It's trying to go in. Liam Cotter, would you damage the battery charging it every night like phones?
No.
There you go. No.
What I do is there is battery. There are steps you can take for long term, like some people say don't charge to 100%. I tend to set mine to charge to 90, and then when I know I'm going to go to Cork, I'll charge to 100. But no, not this day.
It's very unlikely. I'll go back again. Red Mantech says, I'd echo Colin's views. We now have 2 EVs and our company cars represent 65% electric versus 35% diesel. So he's on your realm there. An EV pack with hundreds or even thousands of cells is a very different beast from a 1 to 2 cell phone battery, says Cross, so he's right on that one. Yeah. Liam Cotter says, limit to 80% unless needed, no problems. It's heavily managed. I've nearly 200,000 kilometers on his i3 and he lost less than 10% of his electricity, his battery. Yeah, but it was Omnisys one, yeah. So you're spotted.
Oh, spotted.
You're going nowhere. What's the cost of replacing the batteries? We haven't really come up against that yet, have we? No one's really replaced.
No, I know.
Unless under warranty is the only reason.
Yeah. I've not thought about it. I think the only people who actually do an active battery replacement plan, but I don't even know if they do it in Ireland, is Renault with the Zoe. I've certainly seen videos online of in France you can literally drop the battery out of a Zoe.
That was the plan here in Ireland as well. I remember I was at the launch of that when it was here. We're supposed to have dealerships where you could just, your battery would be empty, you drive into a Renault dealership and just fit a new battery fully charged into your car was the plan. But it worked out to be phenomenally expensive to keep a range, like batteries, whatever price they are. You keep 10 of them on a shelf there fully charged waiting for someone to turn up, it becomes really expensive. That was the idea behind the leasing of the batteries, which Renault's now going to get rid of as well. They're going to stop that leasing of the cars.
I think certainly like here in Ireland we all like to think we own what we have, don't we? I think it's just culture. Different, like it's like when you go to Europe, everyone rents their homes, they don't buy them.
It's true.
It's the same type of thing.
They buy their cars, they rent their houses.
That's it.
Shane Colton says, not EV related, alright, but passing 7-seater cars that I say, how did your viewer who was like, we had a viewer who was on with 7-seater cars. His wife paid the full amount for the car and then went down to collect it, and he was told the car was already collected by somebody else, and now the car is missing and her money's missing and the car is still in Romania. It's still, I don't have an answer to the question of what actually happened to the owner until they've gone through it. It's down to a legal case, that'll be. Yeah, still there, still happening. Roger Sharkey says Tesla say 7,000 to replace a Model 3 modules. That will reduce very soon. $7,000
for a battery.
For a Model 3. That sounds all right, to be honest with you. If you're replacing an engine in the car from the start, a big diesel engine.
There'll be small cottage industries though doing them because they're already telling you on YouTube.
Brian's here. Hold on, just turn around, Brian.
There's already people doing multi-mountain people doing the Prius batteries, sort of on YouTube.
Reclaiming them,
so
I've seen that once.
There's already 1 or 2 doing the Leaf battery. They just drop it out, replace the cells. So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because you can get a thing that can diagnose what cell has a problem out of all the cells you've got. Bob, where are you exactly? I'm at Cashel, Circle K. Cashel Circle K on the M8 services. The location is actually on this. I think I've enabled location services. So it should be on this.
Just Google Ionity Charger Cashel.
That's it. Yeah, that's how I got here. Actually brought me straight to the door. Actually brought me around that little road over there. But you can come straight down here. There's a McDonald's here. There's a restaurant inside. We'll eventually go inside, I'm sure.
So I think, it's my only personal opinion, when I finish with that Leaf, say 4 years old, I think it'd be more value to the second-hand owner at doing lower mileage than actually upgrading the battery.
Yes. Because
I'll be able to move on to a newer car with like the 64. And then when they're finished with it, they'll probably just go to house EV. Or I estimate about 8,000, 7,000 or 8,000 maybe. That's what maybe a 4,000 is probably going to be worth changing.
And another thing we were discussing on the channel this week, Bob, was the whole thing about EV conversions. I know I have certainly posted a couple of links because I think it's great to think of an old car that's got a new lease of life for more regular driving is when you can stick an EV drivetrain into an old classic motor. I think we saw a 500 Fiat and that Ferrari
because
and
the model size just caters for the batteries and the drivetrain.
Like this week some really lovely cars, and you just like to think it'd be great if
next month I think I'm working with Johnny in Fully Charged, Fully Charged, to do something up north.
Johnny Smith,
and Robert, Bobby Llewellyn, included in everything. And get some electricity to my phone now that I think we have no Ionity chargers. I only have a Ford charger.
That's the best mobile phone charger I ever bought. 40 kilowatt hour mobile phone charger.
It's the handy one, alright. We have more questions. So €7,500 to replace the battery, says Liam Cotter. Electric cars will never catch on, says Colin Higgins. A bit late to the party there, Colin.
Like the internet.
Yeah, never happened. Liam Cotter says they're costly. A 6-year-old Nissan Leaf, it costs more to replace the battery than the car is worth. Whoops.
Don't replace the battery.
Don't replace the battery. They took Leaf as trade to keep it quiet. I don't know about that. Now, Liam, look, nobody replaces the battery, and there is certain. I've seen a couple of videos online of an American guy who lost 50% of his battery over 10 years or something. It's the only time I've seen that, and online you only ever see negative reviews anyway. So I have this. Some of these Leafs here are aged.
2014 24 kilowatt hour there. He's got that battery degradation. If he loses 2 bars of battery degradation, if he sells that, the person's going to have an 80 kilometre distance Leaf.
Yeah.
Now, that Ion was doing 80 kilometres when I test drove it. So effectively, you've still got 80 kilometres.
The price of the car will go down to compensate for the amount of battery that's left on the
town.
Electric cars will catch on. What's the cost of a charge?
I know a lady, I'm not going to mention her name, who would be lucky to do 80 kilometres in a week.
Well, in fairness, my wife has my own Seat Leon, and she does 4,000 kilometres a year. A year, right? You could cycle. I'd run 4,000 kilometres a year.
It's the right
drive.
When you park up at Tesco or the Lidl's, you're charging. When you go home, you're charging. So your 80 kilometres is coming back every time you.
Every time you go out. Yeah.
And with the new deal from Mr. Kelly and all, they're going to have Ionity's coming into Tesco. He's already in the Lidl's and the Aldi's. So every car park I go to seems to have
it's a PHEV,
a standard charge point.
That's illegal.
You won't be able to charge.
Golf GTE has turned up, which is a PHEV. He's not allowed charger.
He just seem to go nowhere without a charger nowadays, so they're starting to fall over.
Question from Red Mitch says, what's the cost of a charge on Ionity? It is €8 flat fee. At the moment, it's €8 flat fee. They will move towards a standard per kilowatt hour charge. Right now, if your battery's at 10%, if it's empty or it's full or whatever way it is, it's €8 to get the charge started in the first place. So done.
It's bad for the 24 kilowatt Ionity.
Yeah, for the small cars, but if you have it's £8. But if you're driving one,
a Kona or an E-Niro,
a Kona or any of those cars, it's going to be a phenomenal one to go into it. Yeah. Per kilowatt on the way, connection fee per kilowatt, €8 flat fee. In 5 years, batteries will be half the price and double the life. Possibly. That's always a great speculation to have, but it is speculation. A ban the PHEVs, we'll go on to the other PHEV and disgrace them into moving. No, we won't. Martin Bowler says, I paid my €1,000 deposit for the ID3 with no idea when it will arrive. And I was mad or yeah. Well, I wouldn't pay a deposit for something that I've never seen. Or never driven, so that's the way I would feel about that one. There's GT's pulling out. He's been disgraced to pull out PHEVs. How dare they? Looking into the front of the Jaguar I-Pace, it's now at 81% charge and 49 minutes left, so it's doing well. The Ionity still charged away here. That's that noise you're listening to. Yeah, 43.10 kilowatts have been distributed by this charger here behind me to the Jaguar I-Pace. The Tesla's off. That's leaving. Let's see what else we're looking at here. Honestly, none of us know enough about the ID3 yet to know that's true. Honest to God, we don't know. Volkswagen done an incredible job marketing the ID3. I've talked to Volkswagen Ireland on a number of occasions about making sure that we get a good look at the car when it comes to Ireland, or when it's good. But look at what Audi has done with the e-tron. They've got one, and we're all waiting months to have a spin in it. It's gone around to dealerships, waiting months to have a spin in it. Charge or not charge. Bob, where is this place exactly? If you open up Google Maps and you type Ionity, that name IONITY, Charger Ireland or Cashel, it's the only one. It takes you straight to the door, so you can come straight down here. It's in Cashel in Ireland. It's about 45 minutes from Portlaoise, so it's not that far. Check the rapid screen for charge rate, Bob. Check the rapid screen. What's the rapid screen? Oh yeah, check the screen on this for the rapid. Is he live as well? I think he might be live as well. He's live as well in there, so he's recording a video in there as well, so I'm going to stay always away for the moment. There's lots of people going live from here today. It's a great turnout. 16, 17 car shoppers, more than that, let's say EV curious people, bi-curious people who've turned out to have a look and see what's going on. The connection's a little bit unreliable here. That's down to YouTube. I have 4G here. It's working absolutely fine, but YouTube seemed to give me a bit of grief. So we've ended up with a little bit like 2 streams nearly, but it seems to be working now at the moment, for the moment anyway. But just expect it to drop out if I suddenly freeze on the screen. There's nothing I can do about it. I really would wish I could get this thing to be much more reliable, and that's why I would do outside more often like this. PHEV plug in every day at home and visit the petrol station weekly. Waste of time. I know I had one. If you can make a PHEV work properly, you should really be an electric car anyway. PHEVs are very specific use. 50-kilometer range, like that old electric car over there, the old Peugeot. It's such a specific thing. It's not worth it. If you're looking at PHEVs, don't go for electric or go for a hybrid. Hybrids are okay as well. They've got their place. They will work for another few years, but right now electric cars are getting so far and the range is not worth your while to bother with the PHEV at the moment. If it's based on an e-Golf, it will. Cross 13 is a retrofit car to 500 quid for the adapter. Available 1st of June. Nissan Leaf was a disaster. The Nissan Leaf was a disaster. I don't think so. It was the highest selling car. There's a TDI Golf just pulling in behind us. That's not an electric charge space. This is. So that one's electric charge. This one is not electric charge. The electric Leaf has been the #1 seller since the beginning because it's been around the longest. And just fill in as well. The other day I was in Paris covering it for the Metro.co.uk. You can check them out. The Renault Zoe autonomous drive. So I was doing that as well, which is all electric. Going to be a 6-seat car with scissors doors on one side. A lot of legislation to go on that yet, but once the legislation is in place, you'd be surprised how fast this is going to happen. What's wrong with diesel for motorway driving? Diesel, look, diesel has its place, and I think diesel will have its place for another 10-15 years. I can't see it changing right now. I came down here in a diesel as well. It works well on motorways, but we are moving very, very fast when it comes to electric cars and automated driving cars, and we are getting these electric cars are starting to really take place, and they're starting to become very useful. The range now is useful. Like the Nissan Leaf range for me wouldn't work at all, 80 to 120 kilometers, but that Hyundai Kona here, the one behind it, or the Kia Niro, which I'll be testing later on in the year, they've got much longer range. They're talking about 400 kilometers, much more useful, and at the moment free, unless you're using the Ionity, which is 8 quid here, but it's free if you're charging on the street for yourself. Cross says nope, on the Ionity rapid charger head itself. The Ionity charger doesn't actually tell you. It just tells you how much charge it's given. It doesn't tell you how much more there is to go or how fast it's putting it in. Very little on the screen actually. Is there anything on the screen and that to tell you how fast it's charging at? No.
It's around 71, 72-ish.
Where's it?
46 kilowatt hours delivered.
Yeah,
41 minutes.
In 46.1 kilowatt hours delivered in 41 minutes. It seems now iPace did have a problem. Mine had a problem as well of charging at full speed. It didn't seem to want to, so it might be a software issue that may need updating on it. But it seems to be getting its charge right now. It's definitely fast, that's for sure. Roger Starkey says Nissan have announced a next generation battery due next year. Similar to Tesla, Maxwell cells will still use cobalt. Nissan have announced an awful lot of stuff over the years, and most of it kind of backs off at the last minute. Beware of what Nissan announced, because there is problems with battery supply, which is why we don't have a swarm of Audi e-trons on top of us. There is problems with more Tesla Model 3. There's problems with all kinds of things, and it's down to supply and demand. There's so many now suddenly want supply. The demand is there, but they can't get them out of the ground and built fast enough, and that is a big problem at the moment. Correct, I'm referring to cars already here. Have any new electric cars have toilets fitted? No. Has any cars got toilets fitted? No. It's camper vans? Yeah. Caravans? Yeah, sure. No trucks or anything else. I did see a little thing on post online, just looking there in the background, there's just trucks and things in the background over there. Cross says there's an NV200 camper which will have an electric engine, but will have a toilet maybe in it. I suppose you could spec one in it. Look at the amount of people who's just here, even just curious. You can see here as well, we decided to do this. That's why we're really here, is because there's an awful lot of questions of people that they've got. about electric cars and how electric cars run. I know in the background here some traveller community have a little campground in the background here, somebody's referring to, which they brought in a horse and cart earlier on, which is totally zero emissions. But you can see the range of cars that are here for charge. But not only those guys on both sides of me now. There's the Peugeot, there's the BMW i3, there's the Hyundai, whatever that's called, and then there's the Kia version here as well. So all of the cars that are here around the charger are all electric or semi-electric as well. There's the Golf GTE over there, there's a Leaf over the other side. There's someone beeping the horn at me, thanks very much. Yay, well done. I don't know who that is, but hello. Hanging out the window of a Skoda Rapid. It's brilliant to see. I mean, even this Nissan Leaf here, this all electric taxi, you can see that we have a move one way or the other, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. We are moving towards an electric future at the moment, but sales have to pick up, and that means supply have to pick up. So we need more electric cars, but we also need more people who are willing to buy them. Now that means finding a hell of a lot of money, because these cars are not cheap, and that is the big issue at the moment, is where does all this money come from? You know, where do people find all these money for PCPs and finance and everything else that has to come up, and see how quiet those cars are. Look, there's a bleeding Zoe just pulled out. I didn't even hear the thing moving. You really got to pay attention when there's a lot of electric cars around you. Yes, there is an ENV 200 as well, 3000 as well. Yeah, there is a few electric cars coming, electric vans coming, which will make a difference. Electric trucks are on the way. Tesla have been testing one recently. I've seen a picture of it, whether it's real or not I don't know, but they've been testing one. They're not the only truck company. Volvo's been doing it too. Scania are at as well. They're all doing something that way. And when is the Seat Elborn out in Ireland? No idea, never even heard of the thing. Where's the new electric Hiace? There is no Hiace anymore, Toyota don't make one. Bob, this meeting is your initiative or you just joined? No, it's the EV Owners Club of Ireland. Ionity just opened this today. They were having a meeting here today, and the EV Owners Club asked me to come down to it, and I thought I'd mix and match the Sunday service along with EV Owners Club thing in the middle of it. The last time I did the EV Owners Club, I ended up on TV from the Eco Eye, so so I owe them a little favour from that one. Toyota's behind everyone else. Electric RAV4 on the way in 2 years, starting in China. Yeah, it is kind of funny to see the company who was the real go-getter when it came to hybrid cars and hybrid sales and, you know, semi-electric cars, and then suddenly they were just left standing when it came to actual full electric cars. Everyone else left behind. Other companies left behind. Ford, for instance. Ford have done little or nothing in the way of electric cars, and I know they just bought an electric car company in the US for trucks, but that's not helping us here. Cities should move to electric only as a priority. Nah, I don't know about that. That's probably not a good idea at the moment. Look, there is a point of, if everybody in Ireland suddenly went electric, every electric place in the whole country would just go brown overnight, because just we couldn't supply that much electricity in one shot. There's an awful lot of upgrades to do as well. So if you live in an apartment block, for instance, you want to go electric, even if you can get a charge point near your apartment, if everybody in the apartment suddenly went electric, then does the cabling going to the apartment block, will that be able to sustain the amount of electricity that's needed? Annie McAfee has just landed. About time. Where the hell were you fielding all these questions on me on? What's your story? Reporting late. Get back in the bus. Tim Burke, more infrastructure, charging points. That's not necessarily the answer either. Better choice of infrastructure would be better. You know, being able to charge faster, sooner, more appropriately. The object of a fast charge is to fit the gap when you need to go a long way. It's not meant to be really used every single day for your car. You're supposed to charge at home, is the main part. Andrew Dockey says, will you be visiting Manchester this year, Bob? There is an event on in Manchester later on in the year, I think with Seat, and going over. I'm not too sure what that event is about. I'll have to come back to that one. I know if someone else organises those trips. I don't really think about them. Someone just said turn up to the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning. That'll do you. Another car pulling in behind, but it's not an electric car. Look at this Hyundai diesel. Hear that diesel sound? Isn't that terrible?
Actually, it's a hybrid.
It's semi 12-volt battery in the background. Hang on, just go back through the rest of them. Tim Burke, it's coming. However, most charging should occur at home. Yes, that's true. Seat, probably the ID3. The ID3 is coming. Well, look, we're going to see it this year. We'll actually see it. We haven't actually seen a car. I mean, the thing you're looking at is this kind of camouflaged car. So we haven't even seen it properly yet. Sorry, that scrolls forward very rapidly. Huh?
€1,000 deposit.
People have paid it already though, and haven't even seen the place.
So it'll be a good car.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Horse and cart, not quite 100% zero emission. You'd be surprised. What's that?
Probably Llewellyn drove and stripped down.
Yeah, but that's not even a finished car. There's no dashboard, there's no that. Now it's talking about it. It's crazy sort of thing. What, this is early? Sorry, yes, it's true actually. Andrew McAfee, I apologise. I actually started an hour early. That's why you weren't here at 2 o'clock. Yeah, now it's 2 o'clock. Now you've no excuse. Colin Higgins, those men behind you are so confused as to have no engine to look at. That's true. But they do have tyres and noises and batteries and things like that.
There's a lot of chat about coffee versus honest coffee and Circle K coffee, so that's...
Yeah, see, they become experts on which McDonald's is a good McDonald's. Ford licensing Rivian Tech, not buying the company. We paid an awful lot of money for...
American range. Jaguar.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a bit of petrol head.
A7 RTM.
That's a 4.3. That's a proper... Come back. I wasn't finished looking at you. Jaguar went by me there, an XK, and it's going to come out this way here, is it? We'll go over. Now, sorry, electric fans, but we're going to have a look at a Jaguar pass me by here again. Here it is. Hold on, no. There she is. Look at that. It's an XK. Put your foot down. There's a bit of a grumble out of that one. That's quite nice. That should be a V8 4.3 litre. Serious car. Must be a classic car run on here today that I haven't seen.
Yeah, XK.
Is there any other classic car run around here? There's the I-Pace going out. Colin is on the way. First test drive in an I-Pace?
Seeing as I paid for the charge, Bob, I'm going to take it for a spin.
You're going to get your 8 quid worth,
You're going to get me 8 quid worth, yeah. I'm wondering how quick I can get to junction 9 and back.
Enjoy. Put it in sport mode and put your foot down. I didn't say to do that. You try though. Colin's going to get his €8 worth out of that car. The I-Pace, lovely car, really good range on the I-Pace. I really do like the I-Pace. There's a video on my channel of a review of that car. It did have problems with charging, but I believe that is a software issue more than anything. Ford licensing. Where Toyota releases some of their hybrids with 2 different types of batteries, lithium-ion and nickel hydrate. Probably because of supply, I bet you. We can only supply 30% of the road mileage going electric with now time of use charging right now. Little or no network changes. We've a decade even from that, that's true. All EV owners to opposite side of the car park then have wacky races style over to see who gets plugged in and who doesn't. Brian Cunningham, unless it's a Toyota horse, could be a Toyota, I don't know. He came in a horse and cart a minute ago and went trot and by me there. Irish Revenue will lose a lot of fuel tax money and they will do a lot of electric chargings and charging. Look, okay, so the tax thing has come up a few times about what revenue is going to do. Losing the revenue streams from VRT and then of course VAT on petrol and diesel and so on. Look, they'll find a way to get it back. Nobody goes in Ireland. Ireland is completely tax crazy here.
Smart meters they want us to put in.
Smart meters in your house?
Because they'll charge us when they see you plugging in at 2 a.m. I just saying I'm sceptical over smart meters like Electric Ireland want us to put in because when they see you pulling 32 amps at 2 a.m. in the morning until 6, I reckon they'll load that up on excise and VAT just for traction electricity. So we'll all be in the same boat. In 5 years' time, we'll be back to normal diesel prices.
I know. Well, let's hope it doesn't go that direction.
The Irish government needs their revenue, see. So
the government unfortunately always need revenue. It's never going to be an easy thing for the government to do the revenue. But you look around this, and you've got in this car park, even with all these EVs in here, it's probably 90% petrol and diesel. So right now, it's not a worry. 2 or 3 years from now, when there's more and more electric cars on the road, then it will become a worry, and the government will be out of office by then. So we'll have a different government anyway. Maybe the Green Party will come in and they'll have it all sorted.
Huh? We might have a Green government.
We'll have a Green Party by then at that stage. It'll all be sorted. Where are we? Liam Brady. Bob, what's the E-Nero like inside the cabin? Dying to see it.
I drove it.
Is it here?
No, he's just left. Will he be back?
Bloody hell. He'll be back in a minute.
Matchx took it.
Matchx has gone for a drive in it. He's going to have... No, he's not Matchx over there. He'll be back and we'll have a look in the E-Nero in a minute. Lots of people are getting test drives and lots of the other cars around the edges as well. Bob Stephen Scarf from Coolock. Hi Bob Stephen. Good man. You got a question there, Stephen? Remember when 2008 when everyone thought diesel was the next generation thing to save the planet driving around in 1.1 diesels? That was a problem, and it still is a problem in that diesel has been disproportionately used in Europe. So there's tax incentives and stuff for having diesel in Europe. I mean, look at this totally inappropriate Ford Toyota Hilux thing passing by here. You know, there's multiple big diesels around the place here that shouldn't really, and probably didn't really need a diesel, but that's down to choice, lads. If you want to have a diesel, you still can. I'm not pushing you towards electric cars. Electric cars are inappropriate for a lot of people. This 141 Nissan Leaf would never work for me at all, because the range of it is 100, maybe 100, 120 kilometers right here. Nice looking car, but it's totally inappropriate for daily use. But my wife could use that car for nearly nothing when it comes to actually driving the car every day. So instead of paying, I don't know how much tax my car at home is 150 quid every 3 months for tax or something like that. That's 150 quid a year to tax. So the tax is different on those cars. And then you have big cars like these ones here, the Hyundai Ioniq, which is not cheap, but it's 150 quid a year to tax that as well. So like, and it's free. Ionity's not free, it's €8 per charge in Ionity, but it's free to charge at the ESB charge points over there, which are 22 kilowatts. So there's a lot to think about, but the actual impact of electric cars right now is good, it's positive. You just don't know €120 a year. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, €120 a year to tax the Leaf or electric car. The impact for electric cars is good. It is a good thing. It means there's more fuel for us petrol heads who want to drive petrol and diesel cars, because there's less petrol and diesel being used at these cars. But also, there's less CO2, there's less NOx, there's less emissions in general, the air will get cleaner. There's a lot of side benefits to having these electric cars, but right now I think most of them are prohibitively expensive, and it will stop the majority of people actually changing over because of the price of the bloody things are too expensive. So if you just joined us, I am live from Cashel, Circle K, the Ionity chargers, which are just opened here in Circle K, which are the first chargers, apart from Tesla, first chargers to come into the country that aren't ESB backed. So these have been built by Ionity themselves, and they're going to be charging and using these as fast chargers. These can charge up to 350 kilowatts. More probably they will charge at 150 kilowatts until there's less of a draw. Now all the cars that have been here this morning have had a charge from them. Apart from Nissan Leaf, if you're going to buy an older Nissan Leaf, Generation 1 particularly, it is CHAdeMO, so you can't use the CCS chargers in a Nissan Leaf, so they can't charge them that, you just charge it down. But everyone else does CCS, including the i3 and the e-Golf. So the lads are still hanging around trying to figure out what to look at, because there's no engines and revving and noises and stuff we can do or anything, but they are fast. And Colin's gone off for a drive in the Jaguar I-Pace, and a couple of other lads have been off and drives and other stuff as well. So we're trying to get everyone to have a little look, see what to think of these cars, and then we find out what to think of them. And I'm going to talk to some users now and see who's into what car. I'll come back to that once I find out who they are. There's loads of questions going up on the screen again. Read through some of Cross 13 stuff there about VRT and other details as well. But Colin Higgins says, remember, oh sorry, it was 2008, I was on that one. Big VRT and road tax overhaul supposedly on the way as part of the new climate change plan. I love this climate emergency thing that the government has declared. It's such a joke, it's totally meaningless, it doesn't mean anything, but they still declared it, which I suppose is an interesting way of doing it. But this is going to cost us money, so the problem is you're going to find it could end up actually having to pay more for electric cars on the road by the time they've done their climate change plan. But they're probably going to, what they did in Norway was they taxed the crap out of petrol ICE engine cars, so petrol and diesel cars got taxed to infinity, which made electric cars look really cheap in comparison to diesel cars. So that's why it worked up there for them. Don't know if it's going to work for us in the same way. To be honest with you, if it was that expensive, I'd just give up driving entirely. No NOx, less brake dust due to regen. Just to mention, the video quality is bang tidy for mobile and very stable, no dropping in quality of buffering. We had one full drop already, a complete freeze up and a complete crash by the YouTube app. Thanks YouTube for making such a crap app. But it completely froze and I had to start the whole stream again. So this is the second stream. So if you're joining us just now, don't forget you can support this channel, which allows me to go along to days like this and bring you something totally different on this channel live. This is live, in case you're wondering. We're not messing around. Colin's come back after getting his 8 quid out of that car. It's here, it's on the way. Look, he's flashing lights at us. He got his €8 worth, I hope. Maybe he's trembling because of the speed of that car. But it's a great day. Well, Colin, what do you think?
Oh wow, jeepers! I mean, the back of my head is sore from the
whiplash. You get them on
the whiplash. Yes.
Something else. Something like anybody who says that EV isn't the future,
Or is
lads,
slow.
Please, I'm not trying to start a row. I'm just trying to say, lads, you have to wake up and smell the roses.
So there you have it. There's a review of the Jaguar I-Pace from Colin. Wake up and smell the roses. I-Pace is very fast. It was built as a sports car. It is from the ground up a new car by Jaguar. So it's not like the Golf, which is a retrofitted ordinary Golf. It's not like, you know, there's i3 is a brand new platform for electric cars and so on. Jaguar went that same route as well. All the car companies need to go that direction. Some of them are rushing to put a car out, so you end up with cars that are not dedicated to EVs. But the Jaguar I-Pace is a fast car, so properly fast car, as fast as any Tesla for sure. So hopefully you can support this channel, you know, if you can. There's a list of links in the description of this to be able to support the channel in some way or another. There is also an Amazon affiliate link down there too. If you're going to go to the store and buy something that you're going to buy anyway, now if you buy something particular, you do PayPal or Patreon or so on, whatever way you want to do it is brilliant, which allows me to be able to come along on days like this and to talk to individuals, and you guys support the channel and keep it going. So now there's much discussion over here about the I-Pace because it's back, everyone wants to go of it. I didn't bring the I-Pace, I don't know who brought the I-Pace. The lady over there did, I think. The i3 was the first car with CCS. When I bought mine, there was only one CCS Rapid in its charger in the country. Frank Metcalf has joined, enjoying the day. I am enjoying the day. It's a bit cold, slightly rainy, and I'm getting an undependable signal, but the rest is pretty good. Electric cars are boring and won't excite motor enthusiasts. You can't swap an exhaust on a Tesla, put on a turbo, you'd be surprised. Electric cars are weirdly exciting in their own way because they're fiercely quick. When you put your foot down, they really do take off very, very quickly, and the 0 to 60 time is as fast as any performance cars out there. Happy Sunday all, says more coffee. I do have more coffee actually. And I'm not going to go into the shop right now because I know what will happen next. It'll get all loud and it'll drop out. Can you get a battery warranty on an old Tesla Model S? This would be a problem when buying a second-hand EV from Norby dealers or private. A battery warranty? No, I don't know of anyone that does a battery warranty. All you might find is some of the insurance that might do. Colin's going for tea on his way in. From a man that sells EV Jaguars, can the I-Pace tow a trailer? I don't think it's been fully tested on tow rating, but as far as I know, 900 kgs is what it's able to do. So yes, it probably can tow and stuff. Thanks Bob for your excellent review of the Kona. Helped me push me over the edge with the scary world of BEVs. So far good, it does exactly what it says in the tin. There you go, you see, I'm never wrong. Never wrong, whatever you think, yeah, it doesn't matter. Bob, what's the future regarding aged second-hand cars? One's dead batteries, crushed, or just new batteries? So we haven't had enough of them to get that point yet. It is coming for sure. Used cars, like there's a used Nissan Leaf right here behind me. There's used cars all over the place. The battery can degrade over time, but actually the Leaf tells you if it's degrading. It comes up on the dashboard, tells you the condition of the battery anyway, and you can get a tester to test the batteries in the car to see if they have been degraded. Now that doesn't mean that the car won't work. It means it won't have its maximum range all the way there. So if its maximum range is 120, you might do 80 kilometers from a less degrading battery. So the boys are heading off, which is good. So get your last few questions in and we'll keep on trucking for another bit yet. But you will find they're not crushed. Batteries are recycled. Cars are always recycled these days. Very little crushing of cars goes on anymore. And that's the same for all cars. So when you trade in a car, you scrap a car, it goes off, it's drained out all its fluids, all the metals are removed, everything else that can be removed and can be recycled is recycled, and then the remainder is crushed and then melted down and sent off to be turned back into something else, metal. So cars are quite recyclable these days, and if you look at the BMW i3, 70% of that car is made from recycled materials.
That Jag.
Colin likes the Jag.
Wow, that Jag. And it's got, what we were just saying there is that in the cars I've experienced, the Ioniq, the Leaf, the Kona, when you're pushing it, the amazing thing about it is there's nothing inside that to tell you you're going fast.
No.
So like in a petrol car, diesel car, you always have the engine saying to you, slow down, slow down, slow down. Something's roaring at you. Yeah. Nothing. But in that car, they've got this synthetic sound inside. So I put the foot down and it's there's something similar. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
saying to you, yeah, you're going fast, yeah, you're going fast.
But
Maybe
you
you
feel
should
that
slow
pressure
down.
as well on you as you pull away from something. You can feel that pressure
Yeah.
pushing on top of
Yeah,
you.
it's
So you do
unreal.
feel a sensation. It's funny when you have no real big point of reference though. When you're listening for
Yeah.
the point of reference to change the gears enough, and it's not there,
Yeah,
you tend to go a lot faster.
yeah, I totally
All
agree.
of a sudden you're doing 140, 150. You go,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
actually really.
Well, I'm after
I'm
looking down on that and I went, oh my God.
I'm going, oh my god,
Yeah.
speed. I love it.
So
Tons of questions in, Colin. It's been an absolutely huge day for the amount of stuff that's coming in. I clicked the like button. Says Dermot, come on, Dermot. Jaguar got offence criticism for not initially tow rating the I-Pace as most competitive. Yeah, 750 kgs I think an I-Pace can tow actually.
Oh, okay.
And that's been properly tow rated. Now tow rated and braking rating is two different things obviously.
Right.
What it's able to brake versus what it's able to pull is two different things.
Ah.
You know what I mean? So like that.
So, but you can put a hitch on
Or
it.
you can put a hitch on them and you can tow
Within certain limits.
Yeah, 750 kgs is able to brake that as well. I think you can actually tow a lot more than 750 kgs, but they're afraid because the braking system is a regen braking system, so it's a different way of braking. So we need to change how we rate cars. That's the
Right.
problem. Is how we've never had to rate electric cars before in our lives, so it's a new thing. Tommy's saying, are used Nissan Leafs good? Buy? What age should you steer clear of and how many miles are batteries good for? So the Nissan Leaf comes with a thing in it that tells you how much the battery charge will work in the car now. So it actually is a bar outside of the normal full charge bar. There's another bar that tells you the condition of it and tell you how many bars are missing from it. So it depends on the car. You can also get a tester, can't you, to
Yes.
click into those.
I think it's fairly common. So I think any of the guys who are, well, certainly what I would be recommending is there's a good few second-hand reputable dealers. You know, good guys like we've Maciek here today. We've also Phil in Nace.
Yeah.
Phil Fitzgerald. There's also Simon Acton, nextecocar.ie. So those
I met
guys are
Simon
good.
before at the
Yeah.
Kildare one. I met Simon. Yeah.
They're good reputable guys, and they'll be able to give you health status on batteries and things like that. And you know, they also give you warranty. So
Yeah.
if you want good value second-hand EV, like I'm considering buying second-hand Zoes for my fleet because most of my guys will be nipping around the city, and also we then plug it when you charge on the public street chargers, they can take advantage of 22 kilowatt much faster charging.
Right.
So second-hand Zoes for me is a good
Once the
value.
lease has gone off.
Yes.
Yeah, once the lease is
The
finished on the
battery
battery
owned.
thing,
Yeah,
There goes
exactly.
the Zoe in the background there. See, we have them all here. All the cars are here today. Apart from the e-tron, Audi.
Never
You missed
showed
out.
up.
You missed
Yeah,
out.
You missed out.
Eco hitch says Cross. What's an eco hitch? You know such things as an eco hitch is yet. Just go back up again there. Go a little bit higher. So many questions. This thing is not very good at filtering out the questions on the little mobile anymore. What are you getting next week, Colin? What are you getting next week?
Oh, I have no idea.
You getting a different car next week? No.
No.
All right. No, he's not changing cars. He's got his Kona.
I got a Leaf last week for my service manager.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Who's that guy buying second-hand Zoes?
that's me.
That's him. That's him. Call him. He's buying second-hand Zoes.
Not yet. Not yet.
He's looking for
Whoa,
one.
horsey.
Battery life Tesla will have 700,000 to 1 million kilometers next year. Roger, again, a lot of those numbers are thrown out by the car company. Like that's a car company. Car companies that used to tell you once upon a time you could do 5 litres per 100 kilometers in your diesel car. We all found out that was crap, right?
Yeah.
So they had to change. That's where WLTP has come from. So the same applies for electric car companies. They will tell you the best possible scenario for your car and hope that that comes out. Generally, I found they've been okay, close, but some of them are way off. Like
I think in fairness what's happened as well over the years, whoever bought a petrol or diesel car and worried about the range,
Yeah, I never.
they
thought
just
of that,
they just buy the car
Yeah.
because they know they can go to a petrol station and just fill it,
yeah.
and they don't think about range.
And I think a lot of that came down to journalism as well, because as a journalist, I've never tested the maximum range of a car. So I don't get into the car and I drive it till it runs out of fuel. Neither have I done that to an electric car. So I haven't taken an electric car, just driven until I'm empty. So I test it as I would use it,
Yeah.
is more my thing. But most journalists, when an electric car starts out, the first thing to do is drive to Cork.
Yes.
Just jump in a car, drive to Cork, and when you ask them how often they make this journey to Cork, to go, no, never normally, but just because electric car, I want to see can it do it.
Yeah.
They go, well, that's not how these cars
Yeah.
work. So we're getting a longer range, but realistically, we got to start testing them as real cars,
Yes.
not as electric cars first, which would be better practically. I really don't like all this materialism in the world, disposable plastic bottles, phones, cars, etc. There isn't. Well, this isn't disposable. These are all recyclable. Obviously, I'm into that kind of keep your products for as long
Yeah.
as you possibly can too, and I don't like people always going for the new
Yeah.
thing. But a lot of these cars are completely recyclable from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Yeah, I think there's argument for, just like we were talking earlier about the
See the way we all turn around, we hear the big engine.
The big engine, yeah. What was that?
It's a truck, a Scania in the background.
Just like we spoke earlier about giving new life to classics, in the same way, I think the longevity of an EV is actually an awful lot longer than people are allowing for, because as Byron was saying earlier on, you know, a second-hand Leaf can be worth an awful lot to somebody who just needs that little run around town in 5, 6, 10 years time. You know, there are reports of, you know, Leafs in India having done 500,000 kilometres of taxis and things like that, you know, and they'll just keep going because of the maintenance on them is so much lower. Now, yeah, of course there's going to be cars someday that'll just have a battery failure. That's going to happen, and it needs a new battery.
You have engine failures.
You have engine failures in cars as well. You know, it's just like the fires. You know, every time there's an electric car catches fire, there's a big deal. How many cars catch fire that are petrol or diesel? You know, like I used to be thinking about that, saying, you know, when they're thinking about hydrogen cars, and you know, a hydrogen fuel cell car with this high pressure hydrogen tank in the back that's full of
a nuclear bomb.
A nuclear bomb. And then I said, do I ever think about when I'm driving a petrol car that I've got a tank full of highly flammable liquid under my arse?
Probably much more flammable than hydrogen.
But there you go, and you never think about it. But you know, I think there's argument that a second-hand EV is going to have an awful lot more value in the future. It'll be more use to somebody in the second-hand market. And I think second-hand EV are going to, you know, the resale value on EVs, I think, are going to hold.
I think it's actually raised over the last 12 months. I think Nissan Leaf has gone from maybe 3,000 to 5,000 for like generation 1. So there is now that's also because supply isn't there. So there isn't enough Nissan Leafs to cover how many people want them. But there is an element of people looking for a free ride, which is essentially they want to get a Nissan Leaf, not because it's good for the environment, because it costs nothing to run it. Essentially costs nothing to run it, apart from €150 a year tax or 130, whatever it is, and that's it, you know. But there is, I think, it's definitely a future for these kind of cars. It depends on how that future pans out. We have to scale up to it. This is not a point of everybody here in this car park needs to suddenly be going electric. That's bad. That's not going to work. That's going to make it worse, not better.
Of course.
Because then there'll just be queues at these things all of the time. You never get there. So it's a 10-year plan, is what I'm thinking of. And over the next 30 years, we'll see less and less and less of ICE engine cars coming. But I don't think they're actually going. I think they still have a good purpose.
And I think when we see the other, like, in fairness, we're here today at Circle K, and Circle K have partnered with Ionity and put in 4, which is brilliant. I think once the other, you know, there's other brands we can mention, once they all get on board and realise, well, hang on a second, we need a few of these things. And then also, when we're here charging, we need the cup of coffee, or we need the burger, or we need the stuff.
This is good for business. I mean, these guys, Circle K here, make good money out of us. I've bought a coffee. We've all bought at least one coffee here. Sometimes I've gone off to McDonald's to make money. So everybody gets a little share out of this. Now, some people will say, I don't want to be stopping for fuel here for 40 minutes every time. But you do that anyway when you're getting petrol. You stop and you buy a cup of coffee when you're buying petrol or diesel or whatever, you know? I'm holding you up. You're going to get somebody,
I'm going to go and meet my lovely wife.
There you are. I see you meeting your lovely wife. Thank you very much for the invite.
Thanks, Bob.
You're very good.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Colin.
See you next time.
Will do.
God bless.
But we'll keep answering questions here for as long as we can. Let's go back up along. There's loads of questions. V8 Scania. I don't know what the hell kind of Scania that was. It was a great noise over it though. I really don't like autonomous materialism. You come back to that. Did that one right. So you can pass on the Focus and replace with some of the other agri specs yoke. V8 Scania or 500 Scanias. Here's a Volvo coming out. Doesn't sound half as nice though as that big Scania. Here she is. Big Volvo. Come on. Thanks very much. We have another minute. Also, there's a big bus over there which could be replaced with an electric car, for God's sake, surely. And there's a horse over there, an actual horse over there. A real one. Oh God, I was just skipping forward again. Go back to them bloody questions.
What's the total capacity of a Leaf? 0. What's the total capacity of the Nero?
Well, in fairness, your petrol tank isn't under 700 atmospheres of pressure. That's true. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Good man. Used to drive a 4.7 litre V8 SUV, but I have since seen the light. I hope you haven't seen the light too far. I still like it now. 4.7 litre V8, it's always good. Just call him heading off. Omnisys.ie. I don't know what that is, but you can check it out for yourself. Some good kids convert those rotaries to EVs. You can't. There's a couple of companies in Ireland who are doing conversion of old classic cars to EVs now. I was away a couple of days ago in Paris with the guys from Fully Charged, Johnny Smith and his camera crew and stuff. We were talking about that exact fact because we're going to be doing something in a couple of weeks' time on electric cars. But problem here is, if you have a genuine collector who's genuinely collecting a Ferrari whatever engine, V10 or something, he's not going to take out that petrol engine and put in an electric engine. Just not going to happen. You're going to destroy the value of the car, and you're destroying what the car was to begin with. But in terms of a DeLorean or something that had a crap engine to begin with, yeah, no problem, take it out, put in an electric car. Sounds okay to me. I need a burger. Come on, it's gone. Column R8. An RX-8 EV would be nice, yeah. It's true. More reliable than the bloody RX-8 engine is in it.
Well, Calais to the Lake District and tank of fuel.
No, that's true. You just put it in oil.
Pounds and then the fuel was gone.
But you can drive what you like. I've been considering a TVR for weekend hooliganism. That's a good idea. But the majority of these causes drive EVs are better. I don't know. You can have some fun there. We Volvo FM in the budget model. There's a Touras. I don't ever hear of a Touras bus. Look at these people. I don't even know who they are. But I never even hear one of them else. I've never heard of that. Looks like an executive bus to me. Hi Bob, we are all going to be heavily taxed out our cars by the government, Darren. Possibly, we don't know. By the time the tax thing starts to take effect, I don't think the government we have now will be the government then. So I don't think there's going to be much of a change in the October budget this year. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of change in what to do with EVs or taxes or anything else when it comes to cars. I don't see that they have much room to manoeuvre. You can't just suddenly up the tax on diesel and petrols overnight. It's just, the market's still too big for them. It's still a hell of a lot of diesels and petrols being sold, and the majority of cars in Ireland that are being sold right now in dealerships are still diesel and petrol, not electric. Electric makes up about 4% ish of the market, but inquiries it seems much higher, and the talk of them seems much higher, but actually the sales are still rather low in comparison to petrol.
What's the stockpile, Bob, of diesels on sort of RAF grounds have they got?
There's no bloody stockpile anymore. Nobody stockpiles nothing now. There's very little stockpile.
Remember the recession Toyota had on the Langer Road?
Yeah.
Just wrapped.
Yeah.
There, so they were selling 4-year-old cars brand new.
Well, no, it's not 4 years. They'll be looking at a whole 3 months worth of cars.
That was in the recession.
Because it's scary amount
and
of.
Then when they went for the NCT, they failed because the tyres were 6-year-old.
Allegedly failed. Right? Allegedly. Yeah. We can't say they actually failed because of the tyres being old. There's loads of supposition about that kind of time, but God knows. Heavily taxed cars everywhere. Have you seen the new Peugeot 208 EV? I have, yeah. Saw a video of it the other day, and I've seen the new Peugeot 208 in general. It looks really good, looks really nice. Don't know about the range and stuff. And again, it's Peugeot making a car that was a petrol or is a petrol. I mean, is it diesel? It's ripping out the innards and putting in an electric engine. I'd rather see car companies make an actual electric car from scratch rather than having to look at that little thing. Look at that little van going around the corner. You can't really see it now, it's too far away, but it's like one of those little lunchbox vans around years ago. I haven't seen them since I was in Italy. The real question is, we don't all need to drive. We should focus on journey starting that will reduce traffic jams, environmental issues. That's what I was doing in Paris the other day. Ride sharing, ride hailing. Being able to use an app on your phone to get an electric car to come and pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. It's not your car. You just pay a yearly fee on it.
Mile super with the Lime scooters. Brilliant fun.
They could be fun, but it could be expensive as well. How long before you think most of the population will be driving EVs? 10 to 30 years easily. The EVs are really expensive, guys. That's the thing of it at the moment, is that they don't compare to a petrol engine car. You can have petrol cars from under 20 grand. If you look at something like a Dacia Sandero or something, you're going to buy a petrol car to last 10, 15, 20 years. An equivalent minimum electric price of a car is going to be up over 30 grand, so 30, 35 to 40 grand. Even with the grants and things taken off, they can get very expensive very quickly. So
but at the moment,
the majority of electric cars won't be until the prices start to stabilise, until the taxes change and things start to get equal. I think if electric cars were the same price as petrol and diesel, there'd be more electric cars on the road right now.
You have your fuel saving though. €18 versus 60.
But it takes so long to recoup that difference. It's not something you see immediately.
It's upfront costs.
It's just the sheer. I mean, that Kona that Colin was driving is €49,000 before the discounts, and then it's €39,000. That's still a
so you have to do the math. You have to take your 1/3 of the fuel costs 1/3 the price if you're charging at home. Then include your brakes that you're not paying for, and include the services.
This is
So
why I
a few
say most
hundreds
people have a little
to work
spreadsheet. Electric car owners tend to keep this little spreadsheet.
Over
of things.
6 years it's cheaper, but initially it's.
But
it's
6
high.
years is such a long time
And then
to
by that time
recoup the
the battery will
difference.
be worn out.
I have to change arms because we're killed already. Now to scroll back up again because we had a question there in the middle. Hold on. Mikola says, how long before you think most of the population driving EVs? So I still think you're still talking about 10 to 20 years. 30 years we'll be getting a 50-50, I'd say, in 30 years time. There's just not enough resources, not enough investment going into anything, any one thing to really make a big difference, and there's just not enough money around for the ordinary user out there. But my next car, or maybe some of these people who drive in Skoda Superbs, their next car will be an electric car, a second-hand car, whatever, as the market starts to stabilise. Right now, you look at the second-hand market, go to Dundee or go to Carzone or go to Cars Ireland, go to one of those websites and just look for electric cars, just electric. You might find 6 to 10 models there, that's it.
6,000 for a degraded Leaf.
Yeah, and that's stupid money. I have a fold-up battery in a bike and a boot at the corner with a range of 33 kilometers. So good, last mile from charger to civilization. Next week I'm going to be testing an electric scooter from Seat. So that'll be another addition to what you can do with electric cars and put it into the boot of the car and have the final mile thing. Colin Higgins, how many will be fossil burning car? How many would be in your fossil burning car back to Portlaoise? How many would be in your car going wherever you're going, Colin? It doesn't really matter. That's irrelevant. Everyone's going to be in a car at some point. This car here coming at me has 2 people in it. The cars that are pulling out there have 1 to 2 people in every one of them. I drove in Paris 2 days ago in gridlock, and everyone around me was 1 person in the car, and I was in a van with 9 people. So, I feel good. It would be if you get enough of the things. Yeah. Bob, do you think you're? Oh no, I had that already. No, we didn't have that. Hold on. What was that? Bob, do you think your journalistic friends are coming around to electric cars? Some will, some won't. It's not about who's going to come around to it or not. It's coming at you like a freight train. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. People want electric cars. People need electric cars. Car companies are manufacturing electric cars. It does drive. It does drive. Look, there it is. Pull it in, the little car. It's now out of charge. Of course, it did a lap of the car park, but now it's finishing no charge. It came on a low loader.
It started at 80, so it was 10 left.
Yes, I agree with that. I say 25 grand in running costs over 5 years. That's, you can, like I say, if you keep your little Excel spreadsheet, you'd be well sorted on that front. But most people don't, and I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you how much I've spent on petrol and diesel and servicing and everything else on my Leon over 13 years. So imagine that. The Leon goes bang tomorrow. Would you make the leap personally to an EV to replace it tomorrow? And which one? Yes, I would. And I tell you what I'd do. I would buy a Generation 1 Nissan Leaf and just replace it out entirely. Only 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers range. My wife only drives 4,000 kilometers a year, 45,000. That comes up in the NCT. So easily, a standard Generation 1 bog standard Nissan Leaf would do the job. There's a van trying to come out. Diesel. That's my question. No problem at all. Hi Bob, laid in. What's going on there? We are at novice driver trying to reverse out by revving it up. Anyway, we're at the Ionity launch, which is these Ionity fast chargers that have just come in Cashel, and we have some electric cars that come down for charging at this time. Smell of that. God love, you want to lay off that clutch burning out of that thing. It's a 2012 Cork registered Toyota Yaris with novice plate in the back, and she is just riding the clutch to get more torque, but the smell of it, I can still smell clutch, like it's rough. Anyway, that just shows you standard driving that's going on here. Andrew Daly says government will force the market to buy electric, as you say, Bob. No supply. No supply though, so it's big questions when it will become unsustainable driving ICE. If the current government get their way, it will be unsustainable driving an ICE now. If they had their way right now, because there's big money in ICE engines, they make a lot of money on tax. I mean, look at how many petrol cars and diesel cars have come in and gone out of the petrol station end of it over there in the time that I've been here, and how few electric cars will turn up. I mean, this one here, that's a diesel that's sitting there beside us. So the majority of cars that have come in here and gone out are diesel and petrol. That is a hell of a lot of money that's going out through the books the whole time. So they can't tax the bits out of them because it's not going to work here. We don't want them yet, so they can't tax us out of the cars. And if they do, well, you know, I'll be standing outside Leinster House with the rest of you trying to get Do you think petrol cars will ever be completely banned from the roads? They will be banned from certain areas. As I say, I drove through Paris 2 days ago. It is gridlock on all roads in all directions. It took us 2 hours to get from Charles de Gaulle to Versailles, which should have been a 40-minute journey. It was a crazy long journey. I do feel there will be a point where you will need a special license in an ICE engine to go into a city centre. So I think from a city perspective, yes, they may end up banning the CO2 emitting cars, but at the same time, a modern diesel engine, a really modern diesel engine, puts out less CO2 than it ever has. I mean, it's getting right down there to 99 grams or less. I'd like zero emissions, obviously. We'd all like zero emissions. We'll see if that could be possible just yet. Get the investment level up. That electric Peugeot parked in the sales space live on camera. Yeah, it is, but it's actually, they're changing the space. They marked it wrong. That was explained to me earlier on. That's an Ionity space, so it's an electric charging space. It's slightly wider if a disabled driver driving an electric car appears to get into that space. There's none here at the moment, but they've actually marked the space incorrectly. It shouldn't be marked as a disabled space. It should be marked as both a family space and a disabled space when necessary. So I know I was live on camera. It sounds like something to get very upset about. There's usually a pretty good reason behind these things. Don Shelf says, hi, where are you from? What's your name? Don, do your research, man. If you want to come in and ask questions, ask questions. See how many people are asking questions and you're asking where I'm from. Anyway, how do you solve people queuing at chargers? It'd be great if you could plug out another person's cable. The car is finished. I'll tell you what happened to me. I had, what did I have? I can't remember, was it a Jaguar I-Pace or no, maybe it wasn't, something else electric recently. Pulled up to the fast charger in Portlaoise, plugged in, going to be 20 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that to charge the car up enough, and I thought I'll walk to Aldi, which now where the fast charger is in Portlaoise, Aldi is behind you, walk along behind it. Walked down to Aldi, walked back up, my car was still plugged in, but the charging had stopped, and another Nissan Leaf beside me, his charger had started. But my car was only 60% full or something. So I asked him, did he knock it off or something? And he said, yeah, I didn't think we were coming back, so I phoned the company and reset the charger. And then he just left me plugged in. That can't go on, and the reason that can't go on is why Ionity is here. If you're charging for electric cars, if you're charging money, less people will be charging at them. There will be less people coming to these chargers. Nice, secure to know it's here, but because it's €8 and it's not free, you get rid of the freeloaders, and that will make it a lot easier for us electric car owners to get a charge whenever they want it. Lots of questions, loads of questions. The problem that will also solve the problem of queuing, and I know what you mean by queuing at chargers. I've seen it. I've driven along in Hyundai Kona, turn the corner, go to a fast charger, and find there's already 3 cars there waiting for a charge, and I'm number 4, and that would be a pain. But when they actually get the point of having enough of these chargers and also charging for them, the queues will be a lot less. But Cross says there are still cars coming through the development pipeline where they've decided not to tow rate and save weight on cost on brakes and things, I suppose. Looking to Triumph in England, about to start mass production. 10 minutes after freezing again. I think that's after freezing again. There's still loads of questions up on the screen, and I'm terribly sorry if it's frozen up again. It may have another crash, and I suspect that's because something's happened. Something's happened on the phone, some ordinary stuff is coming in, and I can get it back to audio only. So unfortunately I'm going to sign off now because there's no more. 60 minutes has elapsed on this one and a half an hour on the other one. I'm going to leave it here from Cashel. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been an absolutely fascinating time that I've had here, and I hope you will be able to see the rest of this later on. But until the next time, I will see you on the far side.